It is time, once again, to lock your doors, shut your windows, strap yourself into your favourite comfy chair, and tune out and tune into The Naked Zombie.
And it's time once again to get naked with the zombie on Naked Zombie Radio. I'm your host, Brad Scott, and joining me tonight in the cardboard box, as always, is Wadsy. G'day, Wadsy.
How are you, sir?
Mate,
Very good.
How was your week?
It's been tiring but good.
Tiring?
Yes.
Why was so tiring about what you do? Seriously.
Lack of sleep.
Lack of sleep. That's all you do is sleep.
No.
You're like a big teddy bear. You like these teddy bear sleepies. You're tall. Anyway, we have Wadsy. And guess what? Tonight we have a special guest join us, all the way from the Haunts of Brisbane, Mr. Liam Baker.
I thought he lived in Redcliffe.
Oh, God, he always does. Hello, Liam. How are you?
Good. How are you, Brad?
He always jumps in with something like that. So just ignore him for the night, Liam, because this is quite usual. So just
not a problem.
How? Yeah, good. You fine there, Wadsy?
Oh, look, I'm perfect. Yeah.
Okay,
I've got hundreds of them. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, hundreds of them to use them all at once.
Yep.
Okay, we have Liam in the cardboard box, as I like to call it. So he's actually come in tonight, all the way from Redcliffe.
See, I told you. See?
Yeah, I know. It's a long way to come and sit in on the zombie tonight. Now, Liam, you look after what's called the Haunts of Brisbane. Can you give our listeners a big explanation of what that actually is and where that arrives from?
Okay, so the current incarnation of Haunts of Brisbane is actually based off a weekly blog that I do, and that focuses on different haunted locations around Brisbane and actually having a look at the background history of those places. Originally, back in the late 1990s, I was more into the investigation side of things. We'd been living in a haunted house, and that sort of brought about our interest as a small group of friends, and we were going out and doing quite a bit of investigating as far as haunted buildings, haunted open areas were concerned. But that unfortunately sort of wound itself up as everybody went their different ways, as often happens with groups of friends.
Yeah, it does. It's pretty common.
Yeah, and from there I sort of had a bit of a hiatus, moved around a little bit sort of in between Brisbane and Tasmania and whatnot, doing a lot of heritage work. So I'm a formerly qualified archaeologist, and then I've really gotten back into it again in the last 12 months. Obviously having that passion for history and passion for Brisbane history.
Okay, with the archaeology side of things, I mean that's a huge thing to take on. It's a massive subject. But do you find that helps when you're doing the paranormal side as well? Because you're so used to researching something and finding an in-depth history on something, and you're digging around for stuff. Yep. Literally, you are. How does that helped you in what you do today?
I think it's helped quite a bit, and especially, I guess, for anyone who's starting to get into the historic aspect of things. Sometimes it can be very difficult to know sort of what materials are out there and actually how to source those materials as far as doing historic research goes. So I guess having that formal background in doing historic research with my archaeology, it's helped quite a bit.
And this also extends to, because you guys, with the Haunts of Brisbane, you actually go through and do the tours as well. Now, how do the tours and what happens with those sort of things there?
Okay, so I'm actually aligned with the Moonlight Tours at South Brisbane Cemetery, and that's with Friends of South Brisbane Cemetery and the Boggo Jail Historical Society.
Dutton Park one?
That's right, Dutton Park, the big South Brisbane Cemetery there. And essentially, the tours, sort of unlike a lot of other sort of spooky tours or ghost tours that you'll see around the place, the Moonlight Tours are actually, they're a historic tour.
So no one's dressing up in fancy dress and
not
jumping
at
out
all.
with high graves and stuff.
Yeah, it's sort of no fancy dress. It's not scripted in any way, shape or form. It's just looking at the historic aspect of the cemetery. But I guess there's sort of a supernatural aspect or a spooky aspect that's thrown in there. It's more sort of a horrible history tour.
You say that give the history of the person that's in the grave? Or?
That's right. Okay. So, we try and mix it up every tour. Yeah. So, as far as going on a tour goes, you could go on 10 different, 10 tours in a row, and you're likely to get a completely different experience and different stories every time. Just given that there's so much history in the cemetery, and
because a lot of the people buried there are from Boggo Road.
That's
Aren't they?
right.
A lot of criminals were buried. And I've been through that place several times on my own and with a couple of friends. And, geez, that place gives me the absolute willies at the best of time.
It doesn't daylight. No,
It doesn't
nighttime.
at night time, but seriously, I mean, I've been through there at night and, you know, just walking through. And I love walking through cemeteries at night. I don't know what it is. There's just something about it. They're very peaceful and calming. But this place, it absolutely gives me the willies because it's just the people, I guess, buried there. You know, they're like the ex-convicts and who were basically capital punishment was in, were actually executed.
Very bad people.
Very bad people.
Yeah, that's
there. They're
right.
full
So
of
it's-
convicts,
Yeah.
seriously. Can you give us some examples of that, mate? Like who were the people that you know about were buried there and some of the crimes they committed or anything like that?
I can. There's a section. It's probably one of the better known or best known sections in South Brisbane Cemetery, Section 6B, and that's for anyone who's who knows South Brisbane Cemetery. There's a couple of buildings, sort of where all the equipment's kept, in mowers and whatnot.
Yep.
And Section 6B is just in a little area just in behind there, and that's actually the designated section for all of the executed criminals from Boggo Road Jail that went, the executions that took place, from the end of the 1880s right through until 1913, with the last executed criminal. Queensland, after that, repealed the death sentence in 1917. We actually led the country at that stage in repealing the death sentence. Every other state, and also right across sort of, across the Commonwealth, executions occurred for quite a number of decades after. However, of the people who were buried there was only a couple of people out of the 42 that were executed who actually committed crimes in Brisbane. Most of them committed crimes all over the state.
Okay.
Even was telling a story on Friday night. It was the last tour that we had of two gentlemen, if you could call them gentlemen, who committed crimes on Thursday Island. One of them was a man named Gleeson, who was working on a farm up there on a property, and had a falling out with another man that he was working with, and had sort of gone off and gotten himself a bit worse for wear on the alcohol, and had gotten himself a revolver from somewhere and came back to the property. And on one of the other men seeing him come back, went and got an unloaded revolver and pretty much bailed him up and told him in no uncertain terms that he needed to get off the property. Yeah. And this poor chap Gleeson, sort of being worse for wear and not really thinking what he was doing, raised the pistol and shot this other poor chap in the throat and in the chest and killed him outright. So that was on Thursday Island. At virtually the same time, there was another chap named Moncado, who was a native of Chile, had been working on a coastal trader that was anchored just off Thursday Island. And one night he managed to get hold of the ship's boy, who mysteriously vanished. And the next day, the ship's crew started searching the ship to try and locate where this boy had ended up, and actually found pieces of the boy stuffed under Moncado's bunk.
Oh, Jesus.
Lovely.
He pretty much admitted that the rest of the ship's boy had been thrown over the side, and divers were sent down to try and recover the other body parts, but they never found anything. And it was such a grisly case when it came to Brisbane for trial that all the information that came from the trial was actually withheld from the local newspapers at the time, because it was considered so heinous a crime.
What sort of year was that?
However,
What year was that?
late 1890s.
Okay, yep.
So, unfortunately, Gleeson and Moncado had been imprisoned in Cooktown before they were both brought down, given that their crimes had occurred at the same time. And apparently Moncado had confided in Gleeson whilst they'd been held in Cooktown, and had pretty much admitted that he'd retained some of the best cuts of meat for himself, for the possibility of having a midnight snack.
So basically he was eating the cabin boy.
Yeah, unfortunately. However, at the end of both trials, both men were actually both sentenced to death and were both executed on the same day. So, they're...
Hung?
Yeah, both hung.
Hung.
So their paths were intertwined from Thursday Island through the criminal process all the way virtually to the grave, both buried in South Brisbane Cemetery on the same day.
That's phenomenal, isn't it? When you think about it, we've got this sort of history. And when I've done a lot of overseas shows as well, when I've been interviewed, and people talk about how violent our history is and stuff, but actually hearing it firsthand just from you, it just puts a whole new spin on it. Don't it? We are horrible. Horrible people. That's amazing. So now, when you go and do the actual tours themselves, Liam, do you find that people come prepared, like with voice recorders and cameras, and they're trying to do like investigation as the tours happen, or do you sort of not let that happen, so to speak?
As far as sort of anyone coming and trying to do an official investigation, whilst on the tour, I haven't seen it happen. But we always tell people if they do come along with cameras, they're more than welcome to take photographs. And have been contacted by a couple of people who have come on tours who have they've actually captured bizarre mists and whatnot in their photos. So
Because yours is more an informative tour rather than a ghost hunting tour.
that's right.
Yeah,
So
I mean, that's the thing. That's great.
It's a historic tour, but people are more than welcome to take photographs throughout the sort of throughout the tour as well. So it sort of just adds that little aspect, and I guess it gives them something they can take home as well.
I'm very interested in actually some of the more people, but not those two people, especially the guy who munched down on the cabin boy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just terrible.
Oh, no. What are the best bits, though?
The best cuts of meat.
Best cuts of meat.
Oh, Jesus.
File that one for later.
Rolled roast. Sorry. I had one of those the other night. Didn't taste anything like cabin
haven't
boy.
seen your sons for a while.
Stop it. What we got, Liam? Now, is there anything... Because I find this absolutely fascinating. I love
I
history.
think we have to go on one of these tours.
I think so. I think, Liam, you're gonna have to drag us out. I remember years ago, I think I went on one, and lots changed since those days. Would you be willing to have us two ratbags come out one night?
Promise to keep your mouth shut.
We'll try and keep our mouth shut.
Except for screams.
Yeah.
From you, maybe. Just meet me.
Grab me.
Meet me in the toilet, Aussie. But would you be cool with that?
Yeah, that wouldn't be a problem at all.
Good guys, come out and we'll check it out. We actually bring some radio recording equipment and have a chat to the people on the tour and see what they thought.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, I've always been a big fan of local business. The fact that I'd love to promote local business, especially within the paranormal field itself. So now we're going to go into more of these stories because I think I'm fascinated by these people. I'm sure you got plenty more stories for us than that because you've got a really good memory. He's not actually reading.
There's no
anything.
book or anything.
There's nothing. It's just
Move the book under the table.
Not like Wadsy trying to read the news.
No.
What's his word spell? It's cat Wadsy. But what we do is, can you tell us a bit more? How do people get in touch with you, and how can people come on these fantastic tours?
Okay, as far as getting in touch with me, we've got a Facebook site, which is probably the easiest way. It's just a matter of typing Haunts of Brisbane into the search string, and we'll pop up. So it's free access for everybody. It's not, we don't have any kind of filters on there or anything.
Yep.
So we're, whenever the tours and whatnot are coming up, we always advertise as much as we can, just to get the word out there to try and get people to come along and experience something.
So you don't hold them regularly, you just hold them when you get enough information, or?
We're holding them once a month at this stage.
Okay.
So the next one will be coming up, I think it's August 24th on a Friday night. So
Very good. Very good. Oh, I think I'm in Rocky that night, getting drunk again. Wedding.
Yeah.
No, but anyway, what we'll do is I'm going to stick on the website a new link called Events, and which is going to promote local business.
Yep.
So what I'll do is, Liam, we'll actually put that up. Every time we've got an event coming up, mate, for the tour, it'll be up there. So people want to check out when... Oh, but ask you if that's okay first.
No, that's fine.
That's awesome. Okay. So what there's going to do, there's going to be a new events page for people like local business and business in Australia who are going to have special events come up but the thing is I like about the tour is even though you pay to go on these tours, you learn something. What happens with the income after that? This is what I love about it. You want to explain this side of it?
Okay, so for anybody who comes along on one of the Moonlight tours, every cent that's raised gets rolled straight back into the cemetery. So that money's spent on a number of different things. So it might be heritage projects as far as restoring a grave or cleaning up some of the older graves that are in the cemetery, as well as also helping family members. Anyone who's needs some genealogy work done, possibly has a relative buried in the cemetery, and that goes for all over the world. So anyone who might contact from even the United States or England, an information pack can be put together for them, and some family research can be done. So that's every cent that's raised is spent somehow on cemetery projects, which I think is fantastic. And out of Chris Tracy and I, who run the tours, it's all done from a voluntary basis. We don't get a cent out of that. It all gets rolled back into the cemetery.
I mean, that's wonderful. That is true community spirit, and I love that side of things. I've always been praise anyone who volunteers their time and effort especially the maintain. Oh, before you go tonight, I'm going to show you the creepy assest photo I took at Dutton Park Cemetery years ago, and you'll find it on the website. There's this thing coming out of the sky. It just freaked the hell out. As I was running out through the main gate.
Squealing like a girl.
I was squealing like a girl. This thing was, it was just weird. I'll show you the photo after this. But now, can you give us any more stories, examples of people who have been, for crimes they committed and who had been buried there, anything like that, Lynn?
The stories. Out of the 42 that were, that are buried there.
Would love to hear some more stories. The audience would be. I'm fascinated by this.
You've got stories like the story of Patrick Kenneth, who was considered sort of Queensland's almost Queensland's version of Ned Kelly, or Queensland's biggest bushranger, who way out west was convicted of essentially shot, it was said that he'd shot a police officer. Him and his brother were essentially cattle rustlers, and the constabulary had been sent out to try and capture the brothers. However, a couple of days later, when the policeman didn't return, a number of other constables went out to try and locate where this missing officer had gone, and they found his horse, and it was put forward that the Kenneth brothers had actually shot the police officer, had burnt his body, and then sort of crushed up the remains and then shoved it in the saddlebag of his horse, and his horse and the saddlebags were found. They came back to Brisbane, and during the trial, Patrick actually gained a lot of public support. It was sort of at a time when everyone, in the state was doing it quite rough, and he almost became sort of a bit of a public hero, right to the point that he was sentenced to death. And on the day of his execution, well in excess of 1,000 people actually turned up outside the prison to protest his execution. And for anyone who goes to South Brisbane Cemetery, he's actually the only convicted or only executed criminal at South Brisbane who actually has his own headstone. However, that wasn't put there until quite a number of years after his execution. And a lot of people say that the prisoners, or those executed criminals, weren't permitted to have headstones, which just simply wasn't the case. It was just a matter of the government didn't really want to waste any further money on them. Mm-hmm. There are other criminals who were executed there. A man whose name escapes me at the moment committed a crime in Toowong, of all places, just almost right outside where Brisbane Boys College is, and he was a bit of a highwayman. Jumped out from behind a tree and accosted a young man who was walking up the road in a trench coat with a pistol, and pretty much shouted, "Stand and deliver." And when this chap decided that he wasn't going to hand over his wallet, this chap shot him in cold blood on the side of the road and took off. And they picked him up down near Coronation Drive. He was also executed. And a number of stories like that, but it's sort of each one of those stories is sort of in its own right is amazing.
It is. And this is what you'll get to learn. And we're not going to spoil it, everyone. We're not going to give you everyone's story tonight, but it'll just give you a sample and a taste of what you're going to expect on these tours. Yeah. The fact that you're going to be shown by educated people.
More educated than us.
Yeah, more educated than us, speak for yourself. But no, seriously, I've been on a couple of ghost tours all over the place, and what I find fascinating is that the factual history, the actual stuff that actually happened, not made up crap. I really dislike made up crap on tours, because if you've done your own little bit of research, you know what's real and what's not. This thing, but having actual evidence and proof that there's stuff going there, because you guys have done your homework. At the end of the day, you've gone through the books, and when we're going to talk about Boggo Road Jail in a minute, and the history behind that. Now, I know at the moment no one can really get in there because it's closed down for the general public at this stage, because there's a lot of work that needs to be done to make it safe. That is correct?
Yep.
I think I spoke to them a couple of years ago regarding information about the place and stuff like that for the show. But what can you tell us, mate? So people can go along and do the ghost tours. where does Boggo Road come into this, and how did that sort of come about being? Look, they reckon it's as haunted as Buggery. I mean, there's
That's one
so
of the
much.
most haunted places in Brisbane, isn't it? Boggo Road.
Well, depending on who you talk to,
yeah.
I've heard people claim that it's by far the most haunted, haunted site in Queensland and possibly Australia. But it's sort of rankings get thrown around quite a bit.
Oh,
as well,
because no one's actually seen Wodsie's toilet. That was deemed the most haunted.
No, it's just disgusting.
The strange smells and noises
Strange
that come
smells
out.
and noises come out of it. It's not haunted.
No, it's not good, is it? So what can you tell us about Boggo Road Jail, Liam? How does Boggo Road Jail fit into the Brisbane side of things?
Well, as far as my sort of my passion for Boggo Road goes, I used to do tours there many moons ago, prior to it being closed, to the general public in 2005.
So when did it close to prisoners? When were the last prisoners there?
Okay, so we're pretty much sitting on the 20th anniversary of the closing of Boggo Road Jail, which was number 1 division, which is no longer there. They've got the big bioscience precinct it's a fairly new building. It's been built next to it. So the extant part that still exists there now is number 2 division. That closed a couple of years earlier. So, it
hasn't been shut for that long when you
not
think
really
about
that
it.
long.
No, 20 years is
20 years not
bugger
that
all,
long,
mate.
no.
And I mean, essentially, there were major riots there in 1989. That sort of pretty much that was the death knell for number 2 division at Boggo Road Jail. It was closed down, fairly soon after that. But I mean, even then, when you have a look at it, it's only been 2 decades, and to actually see inside the site and see the conditions of the place, and the conditions that the prisoners there would have been subjected to, it's very archaic. I mean, you'd sort of, to look at it, you'd think that it had been shut down, possibly the 1920s, but to see just really primitive conditions that the prisoners were living in at that time. I mean, even to the point of having a toilet bucket, in all of the cells. There was, no running water, or you didn't have a flushing toilet or a sink, or
You had a bucket.
there was a bucket that you'd sort of go to the toilet in during the night while you were locked in, and then you were responsible for taking the bucket out and washing it out the next morning. So it's just very primitive conditions. You just don't expect that it was
the 1980s.
Yeah, right through.
It's amazing, like just in the 80s.
you think
I remember the riots because it was broadcast on Channel 7, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah, there were the riots. I remember. I mean, because it was only 20 years ago. I was 20 back there, but I do remember Boggo Road being very active in that sort of side of things. It always fascinated me. Now, there have been of course, being in prison, we know there's going to be a lot of deaths there, actually in the prison. But can you tell us any stories of deaths, I guess, that happened in a prison that are still a bit iffy and like a lot of controversy about, or anything like that?
Not a great amount of controversy, but I mean, obviously, over the time frame that the prison was open, from the 1880s right through until being closed virtually 1990. I mean, there's a lot of people who committed suicide. A lot of stabbings, some of which did end up causing the death of the innocent, well, not innocent victim, but the victim who was at the receiving end. Even today, I was having a look through a couple of them, just doing a bit of extra research, and a story of a gent who was actually in there, essentially on remand, waiting for his court case to come through. He'd been accused of murder, and had been sitting just in the exercise yard, and a barber was cutting the hair of another prisoner nearby, and just out of nowhere, he just leapt up and ran straight over to the barber and pulled out the razor of the barber's and slit his own throat. Before anybody could even get to him. And that was, at that stage, they tried to do what they could, but unfortunately he bled to death, on the spot. So, and I mean, there's many stories like that, and I guess, it just goes to show, even in prisons of today, that regardless of what you do to try and protect the prisoners from themselves,
there's a way that they'll
unfortunately
find
they'll find the way. Lots of deaths of people hanging themselves using their hammock cords and that kind of thing. So
I remember I was checking out an old prison in New Zealand. I think it was forget the name. I think I remember the name of the place. They had a suicide watch room. And in this prison, more deaths happened in that suicide watch room than anywhere else. Because what they used to do, they used to pull the springs out of the mat. Like they had a steel bed and a foam mattress, but you know the springs out of the steel part. They used to pull those out and stab themselves in the neck with it. In the stores, so I watched Ruben Wall places. They had more deaths in there than anywhere. And when we actually go and investigate the place, it was the weirdest sensation standing in this room and then all these deaths took place. And it just made every hair on your neck stand up on end because every now and then you felt like someone would just touching your hair, you're touching you, and so you go, oh, no. I didn't last too long in that room. It would have gave me the absolute just.
I went through Boggo Road when I had an open day there, and back when I first moved up in 95, 96, and it's a creepy place just to be in there. I could only stay in there for a couple of hours. I had to get out.
It affects people in different ways, doesn't it?
It does.
You would have seen people walk in and go, oh, this is the coolest thing since sliced bread, and you got other people who go on the tours just want to get out as soon as possible.
Yeah, that's right. And, it's generally the people that you don't expect either. I've seen a lot of, very, big sort of, brave-looking men, even sort of ex-police officers and whatnot, who, you'd think nothing would scare them at all. But, generally, it's people like that are the most affected, and they really, really sort of feel, I guess, like the ambience or the that sort of being in that environment just really puts them on edge.
They probably put people in there, and they're thinking they're coming out to get them.
Yeah, well, seriously, they both know they're cops anyway. But now, has there been any sort of, when they used to have the tours and that at Boggo Road, were there any sort of classic cases of poltergeist activity, or was there any ghost sightings in there? Was there any events on the paranormal side of things? I'm sure people love to hear about this that took place there that you can tell us about.
I was actually talking to Chris, who's along with the Boggo Jail Historical Society, yesterday about it. Just from the point of view that a lot of stories do get bandied about Boggo Jail. However, during the time I was there, nothing really leaps out at you as being you're not sort of getting full-bodied apparitions, floating out of cells and crash tackling people, within the cell blocks. Damn. But I guess sort of if you subscribe to that sort of from that recorded ghost or residual ghost point of view, there's quite a bit, ranging from footsteps on the concrete. There's actually a track that runs around the outside of the cell blocks, which was referred to as the back track, sort of in between the inner and outer walls.
Just a running track or a security?
Just a security track. It was sort of like a no man's land, and up until fairly recently, that had gravel laid on it, and it was purely for the fact that the guards on nighttime duty, if somebody tried to creep out, you'd actually hear them walking.
Yeah, you hear them walking on the pebbles.
And numerous times you could be standing dead still and you could still hear footsteps following you up the track.
Oh, that would be so cool.
Yeah.
I love that sensation.
I mean, numerous things like that. Hearing the door latches slam themselves shut, keys rattling, that kind of thing. And it's just, I think, it's that recorded kind of, paranormal events, just replaying themselves over and over.
Because that's the thing, you'd still get a lot of people, paranormal groups approaching you guys to investigate the jail. They'd probably get hammered all the time for it, but it's closed to the public now, isn't it?
It is, so, and has been since 2005. There were a lot of hopes of getting it back up and operational again come 2013. Yeah. But given that the government's lacking funding at the moment, it's, unfortunately...
they're making enough out of the carbon tax to make sure. Sorry.
They can tax the screams that come out of the people's mouths.
That's another story for another night. But So
there's nothing at Boggo Road, there's no office you can get information or anything like that, or peek through a hole in the wall or anything like that? Or
no, unfortunately, completely locked down. Okay. However, Boggo Road Jail Historical Society are, they're working in with government at the moment, Public Works, they're all working together to try and, put together a plan on sort of, how it's going to work once it does reopen. So
how can we as fans of Boggo Road? I mean, I never got the opportunity to go in there because
it's a creepy place.
I mean, I've travelled all over the place. I lived in New Zealand. I investigated prisons over there. I've done stuff here in Australia, but I never got to go into Boggo Road. How can we as laymen's, how can we show our support towards that side of things to get things up and going?
It's Heritage Trust, is it, or has it got its own national trust?
Sort of. At the moment it's sort of in limbo.
Okay.
Sort of at the moment there's a large developer who's coming up with a management plan. And that's yet to be put forward. And once that comes out, then all the key stakeholders are going to be sorted out. It's really unfortunate that it is sitting in that limbo stage at the moment. But probably the best thing you can do to support it would be to jump on the internet and just do a quick Google search for Boggo Road Jail Historical Society. At the moment, they're doing a lot of work in with Public Works to try and set a date as to when it's going to reopen. And obviously being like Friends of South Brisbane Cemetery with the moonlight tours at South Brisbane Cemetery, they hopefully if it does come to pass that they get control of the prison or have some
control over it so they can start. And the same thing's going to happen though, isn't it? Like it happens with the cemetery now, where whatever's raised goes back into it.
That's
if you know what I mean, to help it speed up. And I think that's so. Look, people of Brisbane or people in Australia, if you're coming from overseas, even if you come to Brisbane, you got to check out Dutton Park. You got to go on the moonlit tours. You got to check it out. I love Dutton Park Cemetery. It creeps the hell out of me. But I didn't know all the history, and I'll admit that. But now I've learned something new tonight. It's going to creep me out even more. The people that are buried there. But so I think showing your support by going to these things, and I'm sure you'd love to do more of these, wouldn't you? And actually start doing more and more.
That's right.
But you're volunteering your own time out of this. Or everyone who volunteers their own time out of it. I mean, the Historical Society, I know they're all volunteers. They don't make anything out of what they do. They're just trying to keep.
It's just purely for the passion of it, and getting the history out there, so everyone can share in it. So, which I think is just, it's such a good cause.
But I'm sure the Naked Zombie Army, all the listeners out there who know what I'm talking about, will show your support by going onto the Facebook fan site.
Yep.
Yeah. So can you tell us a bit more about that and the Boggo Road and hitting the like button and showing their support?
Okay. So what I'll do tonight is when I get home, I actually put up these links as well for Friends of South Brisbane Cemetery.
Put them on the
by all means
on the Naked Zombie Facebook page as well.
Yep.
You go ahead and link it across or send it, and I'll put it up for you.
Yep.
Also, we'll put the link on the website tonight under events. I'll do up a new page under events for when. And you just contact me, Liam, and let me know when they're coming out, and we'll put up a calendar for these events coming up. Because this is it. It's not lining your own guy's pocket. It is actually going back and towards the history of Brisbane.
That's right.
Which is fantastic. Oh, sorry, I get a big kick out of that.
That's good.
That's just wonderful.
It is good. Rather than lining someone's pockets, going back into it.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, what Liam's just explained to us tonight is some fantastic stories. The history of the actual cemetery itself. The fact we've got this magnificent building sitting there doing nothing. And I've driven past Boggo Road Jail many, many times, and it just stands out. It's just literally on the corner.
Because you know what it is, it freaks you out just by looking at the front of it. You think,
you do. I mean, that's the thing. You drive past this building, and there's massive stone walls, and it's made out of stone, isn't it? It's stonework.
All sort of red brick and stonework.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredibly imposing. Sitting there on the side of Annerley Road. So.
Yeah, it's like I've walked past them.
One way in, no way out.
Well, that's right. Yeah. I mean, and this is what people don't understand. These places get forgotten about. I mean, people of Brisbane, people around Australia, this is part of your history. This is part of your heritage. This is where half of us have probably had relatives at some stage.
I didn't.
Yeah, you're from Tasmania.
Yeah, so?
Yeah. we tried to ship you back. Here we go.
Here we go.
More hate mail. No, Tasmanian jokes. But, I mean, this is fantastic. Liam, now, with everything that's happening, what else is going on regarding Boggo Road, the prison? Is there any other places that the Moonlight Tours are thinking about going to? Or are there other places they do? Or is there people out there that can contact us and recommend places?
That'd probably be best. And I mean, even from the points of Haunts of Brisbane, with me doing our weekly articles, as far as haunted places are concerned, we're always on the lookout for new places and especially new stories, because I like to to take what essentially is urban legend, and then actually have a look at the history of it and see if there's anything behind it. But yeah, at this stage, as far as the tours go, it's just South Brisbane Cemetery at the moment. But I mean, obviously over time, we can obviously look at that too and have a look and see if there's anywhere else worthwhile doing.
That is brilliant. Well, listen, Liam, we're going to take a short break right now. I've got to put some ads in.
Okay, to pay the bills.
Yeah, got bills to pay. I'm going to put some ads in now. And when we come back, we're going to have Liam join us because Wadsy is doing the news. Liam's going to join us for the news tonight because everyone raves about Wadsy's news because it's like something no one's ever experienced and there's a lot of heartache and sad.
Channel 7 have been ringing for me. Saying
they have. Stop now. Take him off there. So you have been listening to the best in Australian paranormal pop culture radio show, The Naked Zombie. Tonight joining me is Liam and, of course, Wadsy. We'll be right back after these short commercial breaks. And you are back with Australia's #1 paranormal pop culture radio show, The Naked Zombie. I'm your host, Brad Scott, and joining me in the hot seat tonight is, of course, Liam, who's done an awesome job telling us. And like I said before the break, Liam, if you want to go and check this out, you need to go to you'll find the link on this website, and he'll post stuff up regarding the Moonlight tours.
So when's the next one? Just quickly.
Going.
So next one's looking like 24th of August, so it's Friday night.
Friday night, 24th of August. Be there. If you want to learn some fantastic Brisbane history, be there. Awesome, best tour there is, I'm saying.
They only go from about an hour and a half, 2 hours, don't they?
So around about 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I guess probably just to put it out there as well, it's not scripted at all. So as we walk through the cemetery, we really do enjoy people asking a lot of questions, and it's kept very informal. It's just literally a walk through the cemetery and a discussion, but it's always nice when it goes both ways as well. So yeah, we always encourage everyone to ask as many questions as they can. And
the prisoner section, or you do other sections as well? Or
do the whole cemetery. So yeah, right from the top gates on Annerley Road, literally right down to the riverbank and back again. So.
Right.
And just a bit of heads up, folks, if you are thinking about going there and doing an investment,
it's on a hill, so wear decent shoes.
It's not just that. Show some respect because you are walking into a heritage listed.
That's
area.
right.
Yep. This is, any cemetery you should be respectful in. My viewpoint, don't go in there doing anything stupid because you'll just find yourself on the wrong end of the law and you will get caught. Now, the thing is that go on the tours first and actually be involved. Be involved with your local government area. Get involved with your local cemetery group who maintains, and it doesn't matter if you're in Brisbane or Cairns or even Canada. I don't care, but show your support. I mean, I love cemeteries. They're a place of peace and all the rest of it. Anyway, that's enough of that because we've had a great talk about it and we want you people to go. Tonight, as part of the second part of tonight's show, Wadsy was all disappointed when he said we're not doing the news tonight.
I was.
You asked Liam. He was.
He
had tears, tearing up. And anyway,
I did. I need my weekly abuse.
You do need your weekly abuse, and you're going to get it. Now it's time. Would you like to do the intro, Linda?
Where's my music? I need the music. Where's the...
I'll put it in for you, but Liam, would you like to introduce Wadsy reading the news? We're our special guest tonight. We're going to get you to read Wadsy the news. You go for it.
Okay, here's Wadsy with the paranormal news.
Well, not quite paranormal first off, but I think this is just... I don't know whether this is weird, true or freaky. It's just a perspective. But of the world's 7 billion people, an estimated 2.6 billion do not have toilet access.
That's terrible.
Did you know that? 2.6 billion.
So
don't have toilet access.
Don't have access to a toilet.
No.
That's just weird, creepy, and weird all rolled in one.
And every day, a reported 4,000 children die from sanitation-related illnesses.
Well, that's not even. That's not coming to fucking.
No. So I had to bring it back to earth.
Yeah, sorry. How many kids died
in May in Portland, Oreo?
Yeah.
2 guys were awarded $332,000 for wrongly being fired because they complained about being inconvenienced at work by not having an easily accessible toilet.
So 2 guys were fired because they complained of access to easy access to a toilet.
Yep.
Well, they're not happy with a bucket.
If prisoners can do it, why can't these guys?
I don't know. Yeah, man, we can stand up.
Yes.
Oh, this is going to go down so wrong tonight.
There we go.
So what else we got there, Wadsy?
TV series to revisit famous UFO cases.
Oh, they've heard about this.
The new National Geographic television series, Chasing UFOs, will explore the world's UFO hotspots.
I've got some rumour on that. You're going to love this. I heard that the two main guys, the scientist and the other bloke, have actually come forward from chasing UFOs and said,
Is that Ben McGee?
yeah, a lot of it is not what it seems. It's like chasing Bigfoot, where they had the Moneymaker and all the rest of it. Said not everything is what it seems. So what these two guys are saying, I was just reading this the other day, that they've come up and they're doing everything at night where they don't need to, and they're doing other shit they don't need to, and they want you to get excited when they don't need to.
Yeah.
You know I'm going with this. They've actually come forward and said it's not as it appears. So I'm very interested to actually check this show out. If the two main characters of the show have actually come forward and said they're not happy at all with how it's being produced, what else out there that's being produced at the moment is not?
On the cutting room floor.
Well, that is on the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
That shouldn't, I mean, I know you got to sign waivers and all this other stuff when you do TV shows and stuff, and you're not allowed to bag the production company. But for someone to come out and actually stop that, actually break that contract and say, hey, this is not right. Oh, look, kudos to them. They've worked too hard in their chosen fields to get, to look like tools. And no, seriously, no. A TV show will make or break you.
Oh, well, media is a powerful thing.
Media is a powerful thing, and if to all the, we've got an interview coming up with a local group who may be having a TV series. But the thing is, people don't realise if you're in this field and you're chasing a TV show, a TV series, it could either make your career, or you can look like the biggest bunch of wankers. And I've said it. I'm sorry, but I've said it, and you'll lose all credibility. That's the thing. That's what people don't realise, that they're chasing the TV side of it. I personally, why? In that sense, why would you want to put yourself through that? And if it doesn't work, what the ramifications are. And that's a classic example, that story, that chasing UFOs. Sorry, man, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's fine.
Sorry, Liam.
Yeah, I was going to say, National Geo actually copped it a little while ago. They had another one, the Mystery 360 series.
Oh, that's right.
And quite a bit came out over that series as well, that things weren't quite as they seemed, and not so much the fact that they were fudging things, but there was a lot of information being left out of the shows as well, that sort of that balanced the shows out. So
yeah, I know they do it for entertainment, but there's entertainment is downright
it's got to be factual.
crap.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, this is the way it's going. Were we that hard up for paranormal shows now that these?
But
these
is there any
people,
paranormal shows that isn't the X-Files?
I mean, yeah, but the X-Files was totally fictional. It was totally made-believe. It's like anything like that. But when
how many people believed it, though?
Oh, yeah. There's always a bit of truth in mythology, if you know what I mean. That you've always got something there that's like urban legends.
Yeah.
There's what starts an urban legend? A bit of truth. A bit of truth starts it, and then it grows from there. But when you've come to a stage now with paranormal TV shows, and they're look, I'm all for Australia having one. I've always said that I would love to see the Aussies have a proper mainstream on commercial TV, a paranormal TV show, because I reckon it'll do nothing but credit the field if
it's done properly.
And it's not done as a joke. And there's only one joke around here, and that's my show, because that's the way I do it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the fact. I mean, I'm serious, but we'd like to have fun on here at the same time. Now, when you take that scenario and you push and push and push and push, and you want a TV series, think about this, folks who are listening to this. Do you really want that? Do you really, really want to put yourself in that position where you're going to be judged by millions of people?
It depends
look what
how
Paul
it's
guys
done,
from
though.
Taps went through. The first few seasons were absolutely brilliant, and then all of a sudden you had the jacket pulling. You remember the jacket pull incident when they did their last live show?
Yep.
There was so much controversy around that he actually had his hand down his jacket, pulling a wire. It looked like someone was, this is
Tugging
no
his
good for
jacket.
radio, tugging
Yeah.
the back of his jacket. And there was a lot of other stuff that have come out through that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's what happened, but this is what people are bringing up. And this is the same with the guys from Ghost Adventures. They're fantastic. I love watching their shows. They've got so much ending and stuff like that. We know the fact a lot of stuff from Most Haunted.
Yep.
A lot of stuff's come out after that series ended that made... Oh, we knew that from the start. I mean, they caught themselves out half the time. They didn't edit it out anyway, so people picked up generally. But this is the thing, guys. If you want to have a TV series out there in the paranormal, and that's what you're pushing for, think twice. Is it really worth what you're going to get at the end of the day?
Because you might get nothing.
You might get the opposite. Well, have a look happen to the Kiln brothers from Everyday Paranormal. What's that called? Ghost. Ghost Lab.
Yep.
Ghost Lab. Well, how many seasons did they last?
Oh, was it 3?
If that, 2? I don't know. Someone tell me about. But this is the thing now. Brad and Bo, great guys. Nothing wrong with them. They worked very, very hard on what they did and what they achieved. But that's the thing, because the show only lasted a couple of seasons and they were pulled. Where does that leave them now?
That's right.
Doing the Paracon circuit. Why would you want to do that for starters? That's like the original Batman go around still doing Comic Con. It's that whole thing. Why would you want to put yourself through that?
But I think even if you're absolutely spot on in what you do, you're going to cop a lot of flack.
You are, yeah.
So, and that's if you're doing everything, absolutely by the book. So, it only goes downhill from there, doesn't it?
Well, it does go downhill. Look, even doing something like this, you cop flack for doing it because I'm not doing it serious enough, or I'm not touching on this subject enough. Personally, I don't give a rat's because I've got fairly broad shoulders.
We just go with the flow. I mean, whatever comes up and just go with it. And
that's what we do.
Total tangents to everyone else.
And that's how we work it. But people still tune in and people still listen. Sorry to cut you off there, guys. I'm very passionate about certain things because I've been involved heavily in the media and the paranormal for so long, as a researcher and as a thingo for new pilots that came out and stuff like that, where I've come in as consultant. You see it all the time. You only see the good-looking young people, and there's nothing wrong with good-looking. Look at Liam. He's a bit of a hottie. Look at him, all smooth, and looking at his hair. I mean, he's eye candy. Leave him alone.
Start edging away from the desk.
Yeah. What's he? Leave him alone. He's not for you to play with.
No,
but this is
crayons and paint box in the corner.
Yeah, I think so. But this is the thing. When I was doing a lot of it, is now they want to get away from the normal, and these production companies want to look at people who are good-looking, young, vibrant. But they're forgetting about the people who spent 20, 30 years in the field, who know the stuff back to front. Oh, bugger that. I mean, look at me. I'm 6'2", 40 years age and losing my hair. Why would you want me on TV? That's the thing. But that's what people are looking at nowadays. And, I wish everyone the best in doing their own thing and doing their own show, if that's the way I want to go. But just remember, is it really worth it at the end of the day? I don't think it is, personally.
It's a lot of hard work for something that might
backfire and use something severe. But then again, you got to take chances in life, and that's what's up to them.
You look at the mainstream shows, even Channel 9's Current Affair or 7's Today Tonight, they do the odd story on paranormal, but it's very rare.
They make them look like a bunch of tools.
They do.
Not because that's why I refuse to do it.
Yeah.
I absolutely refuse. And look, I get asked a lot to go and do these bloody things, but I spent years in it. I won't do them. I will not be associated with current affair shows and stuff like that when they want me to come in and do a segment of the paranormal, because they're going to put their own spin on it.
Exactly. And they get some stupid reporter there to make fun of it.
And they're going to make fun, like I make fun of you regularly doing the show.
Yeah.
But that's what it's about. Sorry, Liam, you're sitting there nodding your head, mate, going, I agree with this. Well, what's your view, Liam? What do you think, mate?
Nodding the head on radio doesn't work.
I definitely think, it's that way that you are putting your reputation out there on the line. And, like I said before, even if you're doing it absolutely by the book, you're going to cop a lot of flack. So, and especially TV shows like A Current Affair or Today Tonight, they're always going to put a spin on it.
Of course they are.
Because they're looking for
and I mean, you've got no real editorial control over it either. I mean,
you've got none.
It's the time that you sit down and turn the TV on that you realise that they've actually spun back on you and portrayed you in whatever light they care to portray you.
And I've seen it time and time again with different groups and it's terrible. I mean, because these people, you guys out there who are in the paranormal field, you work so hard. You do. Look at yourself, mate. You study and study and study to get all the information. What you told us tonight, you did with your own memory.
Yep.
There was nothing, no paperwork in front of you. There was no you going through notes. There's none of that. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean. That's the amount of work that goes in to have some monkey behind the camera go, we'll make up a story up for you, and yell, that'll all be good. And then they just put their own spin on it. And remember, they've got to edit that there and there that day to be broadcast that night.
That's right.
They don't have time to make it seem they just cut the best bits out. I mean, the best one that I probably did was was New Zealand. Was actually a comedy skit for Jono's new show in New Zealand. But I knew what I was getting myself into. I knew it was a spoof, it was a takeoff. But I was more than happy to do it because they gave me full understanding of what it was like. It was hilarious, But that's the difference. I knew what I was walking into for that one.
And I think even with as far as mainstream media goes, I think it's a field that's not taken particularly seriously, at the best of times as well.
No.
And that goes for visual media and print media, where because it is it's got that sort of kitschy, gimmicky, kind of, that's how they portray it in the newspapers and on the television, that, that they're not really going to take, too seriously what you say, and they're just, they'll leave a lot of information out and they'll put their own sort of gimmicky spin on it.
That's because people are scared of it.
I don't think it's so much that people are scared of it. I think it's, it sells newspapers and magazines, and, because, the greater public has an interest in it.
Yeah.
So, it's obviously sellable, saleable, but at the same time, it's sort of almost a bit of a throwaway piece whenever it makes the newspaper as well. It's just sort of, it's a bit of a page filler as well. They don't take it that seriously, so I think that's sort of where a lot of the problems lie, especially for groups that have worked so hard and done their research, to go and do an investigation, only to sort of have it shot to pieces in the local rag. So
I mean, and that's the thing. It's happened to me. I mean, it's happened to nearly everyone who. I don't know why. I mean, radio shows like this, and there are some great ones like the Ghost of Oz and all the rest of that are out there at the moment. We're there to promote the paranormal. That's what we do. We're there to put it in a positive spin, positive light. Why would you want to go and associate with a bunch of monkeys who are just going to take what you've got, thinking you're going to get national exposure, and all you're going to get is a kick in the backside? This is the thing. Why put yourself through that?
But they're there to make money, so that's what they're doing.
But who's there to make money?
The show is the show it's on. If you're looking at the current affairs shows or the
they're there to make money because
they're
they're
going to do what they want
and stuff like that.
Yeah, to make it look popular. Now, if they have people running around scared, it won't.
It looks good for TV.
It looks good for TV.
But I mean, even to put the swing on that, how many times have you seen an interview done on something like a current affair or Today Tonight, and the Ghostbusters themes running?
Oh, they always play the Ghostbusters
especially
theme.
when it's they're interviewing
It's like
a research group
that's
very professional and trying to do the right thing.
And they play the Ghostbusters
and they play
theme.
it. It's it cheapens.
Or the
it,
X-Files theme.
Yeah.
Yep.
That and the X-Files theme.
Or the Shark Attack, and they play Jaws music.
Yeah, I mean, this is crap to guys. I mean, this is what we're facing within the media with the paranormal. People are thinking that by going on the mainstream side of things, they're going to get somewhere and they're going to get shown in a positive light. I have not yet seen, and I could be very, very wrong, and I have been wrong once or twice. but you know what I mean?
You were wrong once, but it was a mistake.
I was wrong once, but that was a mistake. But it was more to do with the fact that you're trying to get your team or yourself out there to show what you can do, and that you're out there to help people, you're out there to do the right thing, you're finding your research and you're doing everything you can. Just to have someone come along and say, hey, I want to do a story on you guys, this is great, this is what we're going to yada, 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 then to turn into a friggin' circus.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the thing. I've been on other radio shows, not mentioning any names, and bloody hell, it's like, guys, please. I mean, we're here to talk about this subject matter, and this is what we do. That's what frustrated me with mainstream stuff. They lose sight and direction of my eyes. Because we're concentrating on this. Our show's about the paranormal. It's about the supernatural, about weird events, it's about history, it's about all this really cool stuff that millions of people around the planet, billions of people around the planet just find fascinating. Yeah? And that's what we're trying to do. But we do it positively. But in mainstream, it's different. They just want to make their
$2 and go
Make
home.
the $2 and go. We don't make a cent out of this.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, you don't make a cent out of doing the tours. Seriously, we do not make any money out of doing Naked Zombie. I mean, we have the app out there, it's fine, but the small amount we make out of that just basically keeps the website going because people can listen to the show whenever. That's just people showing their support. It's just the way things are. Sorry, I'm off my soapbox. I'll get down on my soapbox. I do this. No?
That was a good discussion.
That was a good discussion. We've got more discussions coming up right now because we're meant to be reading the news and we got carried away. So, Liam, you're doing a fantastic job too, mate. I love what you're coming up with.
Not a problem.
Wazzy, you just scare me.
As normal, so I'm doing a good job.
You're doing a good job. What else we got, man? We're nearly coming to the end of the day. All right. Keep going.
According to the results of a new National Geographic survey, over 36% of Americans believe in UFOs.
Damn straight.
Crucially, however, the poll failed to define UFO.
Oh, hang on. There's going to have a double meaning to this, isn't there?
No. Just read it's on the net. Must be true.
Yep.
Meaning that it doesn't necessarily mean that those who voted yes believe such objects to be extraterrestrial in origin. According to the results, 10% believe they actually witnessed the UFO firsthand, while nearly 4/5 were under the impression that the government was withholding information on the topic.
Damn straight.
Damn straight.
Damn straight. It's all conspiracy theories.
Yep, so those brown men up in the Northern Territory.
What? Oh, the khaki men.
The khaki men, yes. Another question. Voters were asked who they would rather see leading the country in the event of an alien invasion, with Obama winning by 65% of the vote.
Damn straight.
Oh dear, Americans.
No, it's good. I mean, that's fine. They believe that. Well, what are we going to give them, Julia Gillard?
She can dance. Haven't you seen the Big Brother advert?
No, seriously, dude. Honestly, I'm getting a bit political here, and I'm probably going to hate mail out of this, but please
normal.
Please take her back. Please take her back to her planet where she came.
We had her fun with her now, and we want to send her back.
We haven't had fun with her, bloody carbon tax. Anyway, guys, listen. This is another show.
Can't be.
It is. We're up to.
I've got more stories.
What do you reckon, Liam? We keep going? You're happy to keep going?
Well, I'm happy
You've
to
got a
keep
long
going.
way to go.
Yeah,
man.
man.
No, I'm more than happy to keep going.
I'm in.
One more story.
The audience says they want more. Let's go.
All right. Yeah, the London Bridge was relocated to that place in America, Lake Havasu, city's London Bridge. The signature attraction relocated there stone by stone in 1971 isn't haunted, then nothing is. How do we know the bridge isn't haunted? Apparently, EVPs and anomalies in photos and videos have been captured for years. EVPs are believed to be paranormal research to be voices recordings of spirits. There is also evidence of so-called residual energy in the slate and iron nails.
In the iron nail. Well, actually,
How can you get
you would
residual
know
energy?
something about this, Liam, because iron is a great conduct for energy,
yeah,
isn't
fantastic
it?
conduct.
For energy, and this is what Liam would understand this because
So that means all the bars around Boggo Road will be full of it.
anything that can hold residual energy, which they reckon iron does,
Yep.
because it's a mineral. It's actually literally a mineral. It will obtain, and I believe that. I honestly do believe that something like that would happen. Slap me down and call me Shirley, but I honestly
I'll do that anyway.
Feed me garlic, call me Stinky. I mean, that's the thing. What do you think?
Yeah, I think definitely. I mean, iron, especially, in similar ways as conducting heat and conducting electricity, it's
It's
perfectly
also
reasonable.
been used through the eons as a tool for witchcraft and iron pots and all this other stuff.
Yeah, iron rods for divination and all the rest of it.
Oh
so-
man, yeah, I believe that 110%.
Okay. For years, amateur photos and videos of the bridge show strange orbs of light where nothing existed to the naked eye. But you don't believe in orbs, do you?
No.
No. So that's
Sorry, I still get hate mail. I do not believe in orbs being anything more than dust or moisture or anything like that. That's just my opinion, guys. I know I get emails telling me otherwise. No, they're spirits of newly departed, or they're spirits trying to form, all this other stuff, which is fine. Look, you can believe that till the cows come home, and I'm not going to knock you for it. But you're wrong. No, my opinion is it's dust and bits of bug and particulates. Now we're getting technical.
yeah,
Particulates
refraction
in the air.
of light.
That's
well, I
it.
think I'm virtually along the same lines as well. And being such a contentious issue, I think as far as the paranormal field goes, if you've got something that's that contentious, is it really something that you want to be throwing up as far as evidence is concerned?
No, I get sent a lot of photos of orbs. I mean, I get lots of photos of orbs because people know how I feel about it, and they say, "Well, can you explain this?" I get that all the time. No, I'm not going to sit there and explain it because it's like classic example. You take a photo of rain because of the reflection of the light in the mirror within the camera. It looks like it's got a tail, but it looks like it's going up. But that's just a mirrored version of the thing. So it's raindrops coming down, but because of the image reversal effect, it looks like it's going up. That's moisture, that's rain, that's how you pick it up straight away. Dust is nothing. People see faces and dust. Whether it's matrixing or whatever it is, the human brain will decipher what it wants to decipher. It will pick an image.
can't.
That's why babies have. That's why babies look so damn cute when they're born. It's a defense mechanism because you look at it and go, oh, you want to protect it and nurse it, not use it as cabin boy bait. You know, I mean, that's the thing. You think about it. Babies have this effect on us because they're so cute and innocent, and they just go like you do, Woodsy, on a normal basis. It's that.
But that's usually because of a bottle of scotch. Empty bottle of scotch beside me.
Dribbling down the side. But this is. The human brain is designed to decipher things and make it logical to us. And if someone's viewpoint is on orbs that, yes, it is a spirit or something, that's fine. You go right ahead. And if that's what you believe that. And that no one has the right to tell you otherwise. But it's the same principle goes towards people who don't believe they're orbs, don't believe they're supernatural or spiritual or anything. They have the right to believe that as well. I don't think we're ever going to actually come to a mutual agreement about between the two. You know, I think people are always going to believe the spiritual side, other people are going to believe the scientific side. And that's the way it's going to be, I think, for many, 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 many years to come. Forever, probably.
Ever, yeah.
What's your viewpoint?
I think, yeah, absolutely. It's always going to be a contentious issue, I think, because I don't see anyone being able to drag out, you know, what is considered, you know, what's, you know, officially considered a solid, you know, actual orb and what's, you know, an insect or dust or moisture.
I have seen some weird videos, don't get me wrong. There's ghost balls which actually move, which like are big burly things like the size of this pop mic filter here, where it's just a big ball of light, and it's actually, there's some videos out on YouTube just freaky as, but you tell what's a bug because it's lit all in it. It's got a direct flight pattern, but this thing is just odd. There are some weird stuff out there, don't get me wrong.
They go through doors.
Actually, big ball of light that goes through lightning balls, whatever you want to call them.
They're ball lightning as well.
We've had that.
They go through doors and walls and
all sorts of weird shit. You know, I mean, that's what it comes down to. There's so much weird stuff out there, which is just too much to deal with. Sorry, Wadsy, I'm rambling on. Please go on for the news.
You still want me to go on after the toilet?
No, look, we're having a great discussion here. Oh, but before we go on that, I just want to put it out there that I'm looking for...
Your advert, what didn't...
Yeah, no, but I'm slightly changed it all. I'm actually looking...
Couldn't find one right enough.
What I am looking for is actually, I'm thinking about doing like a panel discussion group, and I'm looking for 3 people. I'm looking for a skeptic, a psychic, and...
a sidekick?
A psychic.
Oh.
Psychic or medium, and probably someone in the UFO side of things, and of course myself on the ghost side of things. I want to get that sort of set up because we are going to do more episodes of the shows very, very soon. I want someone who understands the subject, who's willing to come to my house to do this in Brisbane, do it 2 nights a week or something like that, because we're going to go do more shows. We've just got so much happening. So if you're interested, let me know. Go for it, dude.
Sightings of unidentified flying objects hit close to an all-time high in Canada last year. The new report released on Tuesday indicated 986 sightings across Canada in 2011. Ontario saw the most sightings with 406 reported. Specific cases range from grey, disc-shaped object south of Winnipeg to a graceful shaped object witnessed in Ontario. So are they getting drunker or they're getting weirder?
It's the cider.
It's the cider.
It's
the moonshine.
it's the cider and the jugs.
It's the moonshine.
Billy Bob, you see that thing up in the sky there, Billy Bob?
No. Let me put my glasses on. I put my eyes back in.
I think they're trying to probe me there, Billy Bob. Is that you? You're sick. You're sick.
You
man.
suggested it, not me.
All right, what else you got there, big boy?
Nothing at the moment. I'm just about out.
Yeah, about our news tonight? Yeah. That's probably about good. Liam, you'd like to bring... Hey, before we go tonight, and thank you again, Liam, from Haunts of Brisbane, for coming in and joining us on the zombie night.
It's been great.
Absolutely brilliant, was he? Absolutely must get you back.
Yeah,
You're
not a problem.
Of information,
I'd love to come back.
Yeah, look, we have great fun with you tonight. It's been absolutely
I think we should go on the tour first, then bring him back, and then we can pick on him more.
I think we should.
Yep.
I think we should get us into the tours. We're going to the tours probably the next couple of months. We'll go on the tours because... we've got a big schedule ahead of us.
Yep.
We have lots of people, and don't forget, if you want to be part of Naked Zombie Radio, if you want to come on the show and be a guest, you know what to do. You can go to the Facebook fan site, just type in Naked Zombie Radio, or you can contact me via www.naked-zombie- hauntsofbrisbaneradio.com, the website which you probably listen to this now. You can contact me through the contacts page and leave your ideas of guests who you want to have talked and listen to. Lots of great things coming up, lots of great people coming on the show. And Liam, in closing, is there anything you want to mention tonight before we wrap it up?
No, but just apart from, drop by on our Facebook page and give us a like and support
definitely.
us in what we do. So,
I think so. Go and like. Show your support.
Yes,
I have spoken.
he has.
Have you got anything you want to wrap up tonight with Mr. Wadsworth?
It's on the net, so therefore it must be true.
And like I say, thank you again, Liam, for joining us on the Zombie Night. And
thank
thank you,
you for having
everyone,
me.
for tuning in and listening to The Naked Zombie, the best in Australian paranormal pop culture radio. I am Brad Scott, and like I say each week on the show, each time I do the show, have a good night, have a safe night. If you're out investigating, please take care of one another. And you have been listening to The Zombie. Good night.